this ball is hammered deep center field.
It's J-Dog, Johnny Duke, the old guy gamer, and I think it's time for me to talk about MLB The Show now that I've had it for about a week, and just some of the things that I really appreciate or any issues that I might be having, but I'm going to say this at the very beginning here. This game is outstanding. If you're a fan of this series, there's no reason not to pick it up if it's something that you're going to put a lot of time into. If you generally have before, I'm not entirely sure why you wouldn't just pick it up now. But that being said, there are a few things that I'm going to put under the cons here. Number one, technical bugs, which I know will eventually get worked out. But the biggest issue that I'm having by far is the tutorial. For certain game modes, every time you get into them, they're going to restart. You have to watch the movies, for example, for Diamond Dynasty's Conquest mode. And for the mini seasons, you have to go through the visual tutorial every single time. Now, I have turned tutorials off in the options, so I'm a little bit confused why this continues to happen. But hopefully, again, we're not even a week out. There's going to be updates, and I'm sure that this will be something that they take care of. The other issue isn't happening as much. I noticed after a recent patch that it was going much better, and that is the your team's logo or anything that's on their uniforms just sometimes doesn't show up when you're playing in Diamond Dynasty. Right now it only happens for a game, and then normally when you go into the second game it's back. So it's not a big deal. When the game first released, technically before it was even really out, that happened and you wouldn't be able to see them every time you played. So again, those are minor things that they will clean up as the season goes on, I'm sure. So a couple other things that I did want to speak about though. I'm a little disappointed at how difficult it is to kind of have Shohei Ohtani play both pitching and outfield. Like sometimes you can't switch him in to be a pitcher if he hasn't started the game, which for most, if you're playing like mini seasons and you're going to go through the season, you're not going to bother to bring him in for relief. But if you're playing, one-off games and that's what you want to do, I'm not entirely sure why you wouldn't be able to if you have him on your roster. I mean, he can play left, he can pitch, so you should be able to put him into either position as the game goes on without much difficulty. Hopefully that gets improved. The other minor complaint that I have with this game right now is that they weren't able to work in the designated hitter. Every team having a designated hitter. They're still going off of the way that it's always been, where every team has your pitcher hit, which I know that's probably a lot of programming that needs to be done, but it definitely is a little bit disappointing because pitchers hitting is boring. I mean, except for when, Ohtani comes up. But for the most part, pitchers hitting, it's a waste. And it's just too bad that they haven't caught up with the MLB on this yet. And then I feel like the last thing I want to say is it is a negative, but realistically most sports games suffer from this same problem, and that this is basically a reskin of last year with newer rosters, slightly different programs, different cards, but it is the same game, and that's both a negative and I guess a positive because the game is just enjoyable. The modes keep me engaged. Another minor complaint I guess you'd say is I feel like there's not a ton available here at launch as far as programs right now. You've just got your featured program Faces of the Franchise, which is a good program. The only downside is you get these packs for each division and you randomly get one of the players in that division. I'm sure you'll be able to earn more as the season goes on, but I hope you don't get duplicates. I hope it automatically takes out the one that you already have if it's just going to keep giving you random players. And then the only other programs right now are the Nike City Connect programs. You can play through that. And then the only player-specific program right now is Babe Ruth, which doesn't take much time to unlock. And then it kind of feels like after that, there's not a whole lot. I mean, obviously you're going to be working through the, Faces of the Franchise program for a while, but it just feels like there maybe could be a little bit more. However, on the other hand, Conquest, they already have, 6 maps. Of course, 3 of them are beginner and pretty easy. The 4th one, which is the mystery map, isn't too tough, but you can keep repeating it to earn packs. And then you've got the Nation of Baseball, which is of course the big one. I've already completed that one, but I will be going back through it again. And then they just added, with the release, the Faces of the Franchise West, which will give you prospect packs when you complete that mission. And then, I'm playing the mini season, so that's going to keep me busy for a while. beyond that, I know there's a lot of online programs if that's what you're into, but that's a minor complaint, because just playing the games themselves is pretty entertaining. So with that in mind, if I want to talk about the positives, I feel like the game has been very generous with your cards so far this year. My roster, if you take a look at it, I'm not even starting necessarily the best players I can because I'm working on some things, but I already have a pretty decent lineup. I did just complete a game on Legend in the Faces of the Franchise West Conquest map. And so that was a tough game, but kind of fun. I won it with a walk-off home run with Mickey Mantle. And I will say that's another thing the game does really well, is make you feel those moments of excitement, the tenseness when you're, holding on to a one-run lead and you've got your closer in there and there's 2 on. You feel that when you're playing. It gets a little tense and you can feel maybe your heart race a little. So I do enjoy that. But most of the time now I'm playing on All-Star, and this lineup is doing just fine. As I progress, we'll move up, but there have been I've opened a lot of packs just from doing stuff. I've opened a few diamonds in the packs. And then you just earn a lot of these cards. I mean, if you look at my lineup, every single person that's in here I have either opened straight from a pack, such as Correa and Verdugo. I got those guys the first night. Mickey Mantle was the pre-order. But other than that, I earned Piazza. Wander Franco was the Faces of the Franchise. Same with Trout. All of this stuff I've earned already, and I think, this is a pretty decent lineup. I mean, obviously, if you put some money into it and buy a lot of packs, you're going to have a really, really great lineup without much effort. But even if you do the grind, it doesn't take long to get a competitive team, especially against the computer. So that is a huge plus. There's a lot of ways to keep getting packs and keep getting stuff, so I like all of that, and I think that's one thing that they've done really well. Don't forget to do your collections. There's some collections that you can get done early to earn some extra stubs and such. I also like the way that your inventory is organized. I like how easy it is to go and try to find players that you need to finish off your teams. Graphically, this game is outstanding. There's not much more that needs to be said about that. Playing on PlayStation 5, it should be gorgeous. It still is. It was last year, and that's one thing that definitely doesn't need to change. But all in all, I would say that the amount of issues I've had have been very limited. I feel like this game was obviously more game day ready than last year. I've been able to jump right in. You can customize so much stuff, your PCI, the way you pitch, how your games look, presentation style. So there's a lot that you can change to fit your style. On top of that, there's a community out there of just really talented people. For example, my logo, I just downloaded from somebody on the internet. This logo somebody did, and they really have a lot of patience and talent, because I would not be able to do it. I built my team's colors based off of it. And it's not just the logos and the uniforms. There's also stadiums. People build stadiums. You can download some neat stadiums. And that's another really good positive for this, is their ability to allow you to play the game, to make it look how you want. So for those of you that are looking for something to grind for the next couple of months, I mean, I really can't say enough about this game. It's definitely the top dog of the My Team card collecting style sports games that I and probably many of you like to play. So all in all, there's no reason not to buy this game. If you took a year off, it's a good season to come back. If you're looking to get into it, now's a great time. Alright, so this is J-Dog signing off, and if you get a good card, make sure you let me know that you got it, show it off, and just keep on grinding, my friends.
Got to think to yourself, you want to stay up the middle. That way, if you're a little bit early, you hit it out of the ballpark. You're a little late, opposite field knock. Got him swinging.